Hello everybody, this is Cheri at DJ Sundries, and I am so happy to be making this little video with you. This is going to be a short video, and it's asking the question, does it matter what kind of bone folders you use? Now, I will be honest with you, I have used this bone folder for years, probably 10 years or longer. This is my favorite bone folder. It's from Making Memories. It's even got my name on it because I used to take it to crops. I just like this bone folder. I like the way it feels in my hand. It's got some heaviness, I guess you would say, to it. It's not thin. And I really like the creases it makes. This is the bone folder that came with my Martha Stewart small crafting tool, scoring tool, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. But this is the new one, and the reason I broke down and finally got this is a Teflon bone folder. You know, for a long time I've been hearing how that Teflon bone folders are really the best. They help prevent shine, and I finally decided I'm going to break down and buy one, and I'm going to compare and see if it really makes a difference. So that's what this video is about. Does the bone folder make a difference? So I just pulled my little crafting or my little scoring tool out. This is the really small one. And again, bear with me as we're working with getting the new camera set up, but I didn't want to just not do videos while I was waiting. So this one comes with this. It hooks right in at the top. It's always handy, and I love to use it for the beginning of my scoring. In fact, when I'm using my scoring tool, I almost always use this one because it's thinner at the top. It can get into the grooves more evenly, I feel like, and so that is part of the reason that I choose to use that just for that step, especially over this one. It's just enough thinner that I've just always felt like I had more control if I was using the tool that actually came with the scoring tool. Now when I'm looking at this new one, it's also very thin, so we'll try scoring with it as well. So I'm going to set these aside. What I've done is I've pulled 4 different papers out. The first is just a piece of colored paper because I thought that would be a good one to show the difference in the two types of bone folders. This is some Nina turquoise. I have a whole ream of it. It's thin. I would guess 65 or 80 pounds. It's not a heavy cardstock at all. And I'm just going to make a score mark at 2.5 for that piece. And then we're going to do another one at 2.5 for this piece. And I'm just going to set that aside. The next paper I have is just this little nondescript paper. I don't know. I found it in my scrap stash. It's pretty thin. I would guess it's like the Georgia Pacific paper that you get from Walmart. Which I use for a lot of applications, and but it's not one of your better papers, but I wanted to see if that made a difference with it being a thinner paper, so we'll score that. The next type of paper that I have with me is some watercolor cardstock. Now I again just pulled this out of my scrap bin. I'm not sure exactly which watercolor cardstock that it is, but I tried to choose 2 pieces that were similar in weight and texture, so that just for the test, rather than cutting and using up a good piece of paper. Now the last one I have is Nina Classic Crest Solar White in 110, and I actually, since I was cutting a fresh piece of this, and because this paper does tend to be a little bit more expensive, I decided to go ahead and do a full card size on this one so that I'm not really wasting the paper. So I'm going to score that at 4.25 for both of those. Now before I put this little guy, or before I do this last one, I'm going to go ahead and try it with this one just to see how I like it, if it fits in the grooves, and it actually does. It does a great job fitting in the grooves, and I didn't feel like I was losing control. Sometimes with this larger one, I'll just show you on another scrap here. I just felt like it was easy, although that one I did just fine, and it definitely works. But sometimes I felt like if I got just off a little bit, I would get outside of the groove. Again, that's probably more user error than anything. So let's just set this aside because I'm done with the scoring tool, and now comes the part of really the main part of the test. We've seen that all 3 folders work just fine in my scoring tool. Just depends on the control and depends on what you like for fill. Now, I pretty much only use this one just for scoring. The only time I'm going to use this when I'm actually creasing paper is if I can't find my other scoring tool for some reason, because I just don't like the flimsiness that it feels, the flimsiness of feel in my hand. So that's just why I don't use that one. So let's start here. Let me grab a pen, and we're going to write Teflon here, and making memories. Which, I mean, I don't know what it is, if it's like a heavy duty plastic or what it is, but so let's just go ahead and score these. And I hope that if there's a difference, you can see it on the paper. So I've scored the first one, and I don't know if the camera picks it up, but you do get a bit of a mark on this side that the best way I can describe it is it makes it shiny. So you can see the shininess of the crease from where the tool actually put its imprint. Now let's try it with the Teflon one and see. So this one, it's a little bit longer, as you can see, and I have small hands, so that is something that will take a little bit of getting used to for me, is the different size in using it. But let's just see if it makes a difference on this colored paper. And I will tell you that to my naked eye, I don't have that same shininess that I had on the other one. At all. I mean, I can definitely tell the difference, even if the camera doesn't pick it up. I can definitely tell the difference on the colored paper. So let's move to the watercolored paper. Again, let's go making memories, and let's go Teflon. And let's just crease that in half. And again, we're just going to crease it, make sure we've got a flat. And we'll do the same with the Teflon. Let's crease it, make sure we have a flat. I don't know how to describe. It does feel a little bit different in the hand. Not a bad different, not a good different, just different. Part of it is the size probably. And honestly, when I'm looking at the difference in the watercolor paper, I really don't see a difference. Maybe just a little bit more of a mark with the making memory ones than what I have with the Teflon one, but it's not noticeable enough that I would pick up on it in a card or anything, and it wouldn't matter which one I grabbed for that. So now let's try the thin, cheaper cardstock that I have here, and let's see if that makes a difference. Alright, so let's just get that folded there. Crease that back and forth a couple times, and then let's do the same with the Teflon one here. It's a different drag. That's what the difference is. It drags different across. You can feel this one glides across a little bit more smoothly, I guess, than what the Teflon does. That's the difference that I'm feeling in my hand, besides just the size. So when I'm looking at this inexpensive paper, again, I'm not seeing any difference at all whatsoever. I don't see any shine on the crease of the Making Memories ones versus the Teflon one. You know, the crease itself may be a little bit tighter with the Teflon one. You know, making just ever so slightly sharper edge, and of course, because it's scored appropriately, there's no cracking on any of these. Let's look on the inside and see if it makes a difference on the inside. I didn't think to check that before, but no appreciable difference. If anything, I would say that on the Teflon one, remember I said it was a little bit tighter and crisper on the edge. It might have a little bit less wrinkling on the inside, but again, you would have to have a good eye to even be looking for the difference of those two. So finally, let's move on to our bigger pieces. I'm going to grab a pencil to write on these in case I decide to use them later. So we'll just put a T and an MM on those just to know the difference. just in case I decide to use this later. Although I will tell you, I found a piece that had been bent in the package, so I'm not as likely to use it. Now, because this is 110 pound, I'm going to go over it a little bit more because it's a thicker paper. So that's with the Making Memory one. Let's do this with the Teflon one. Yeah, definitely it's in the drag. It feels different in the drag across. So again, same number of going back and forth 3 times. And let's see if I can see a difference. With my lighting, I honestly cannot, which is interesting because before the video I did a test and I actually could see a little bit of a difference. And I know that sometimes when I've been crafting, that's when I've picked up that slightest sheen using this as well. So, but on this particular card, this paper, I'm really not seeing an appreciable difference. Again, I think that the crease might be a little bit tighter on that, which I have no idea why, because I don't know why. But I would say that the Teflon crease just does seem, if I stand it up like this, I don't know, it seems like it might be a little bit tighter of a crease, but it would be so unnoticeable that you can't tell, unless you really have strong, good eyes. So what do I think? Is the Teflon Bone Folder, is it worth it? I would say, based on the colored test, that it probably is worth it to go ahead and get the Teflon Bone Folder, because I don't have that sheen that I'm picking up. So especially if you use a lot of colored paper, you might pick that up more with a plastic type bone folder than you would with the Teflon. So for that, I would say yes, it's definitely worth it to get one, especially if it's your first one, because quite frankly, if you have a scoring tool, this isn't going to be your bone folder that you want to use all the time anyway. So you're probably going to want to buy a bone folder, and I would pay the extra $2 or $3 just to go ahead and get this. If you already have something similar to this and you're happy with it, I would not run out to Amazon or Walmart, or, well, I don't know if you can get them at Walmart, but the craft store, and grab one of these just because you have to have it. I think that there are some good things with it, but I don't think, if you're happy with this, I don't think that you're going to be just jumping up for joy that this one's that much better. If you're unhappy with this one, if you find that you are having problems with something similar to this, that you are getting a lot of sheen, then definitely go ahead and get into this, because you might find that there is less sheen in your paper. I think at the end of the day, it's just going to be, what is your personal choice? I think with the weight of this one is heavier. So I think if I was doing my books for like my journals, or my planners, my monthly planners, I think that this new one will be my grab, because it does just have that little extra bulk that I think will help with a tighter crease on the books. So again, if I had never bought one and I was looking for a recommendation, I probably would go with the Teflon one. If I already had this one, yeah, this is an upgrade, but it's not like it's going to make the whole world of difference in your crafting. You know, you might find that there's something else you want more. So that's just my thought on Teflon versus regular bone folders. Now, what I haven't used, nor do I anticipate having, is a real bone folder. Does that make a difference? I don't know. I'm not going to go buy one to check it out. I just have these crafting ones. So I hope you find that helpful, and thank you so much for stopping by today. Remember, take some time to enjoy the little things. Have a great day. Bye.